John D. Rockefeller was an American businessman who became very wealthy in the late 19th and early 20th century. He made his fortune through the oil industry and is often considered one of the wealthiest men in history. But how did he do it? Rockefeller grew up in a middle-class family and learned the value of hard work and saving money from a young age. As a teenager, he worked at various jobs to earn money and eventually went into business for himself. He started out selling candy and then moved on to selling produce, which he would buy at a low price and sell for a higher price. But it was the oil industry that really made Rockefeller rich. In the mid-1800s, oil was becoming an important source of energy, and Rockefeller saw an opportunity to make money. He started out by investing in an oil refinery, and soon he was able to buy out his competitors and consolidate the industry. He created a company called Standard Oil, which became the largest oil company in the world. One of the reasons Rockefeller was so successful was that he was very good at organizing and managing his business. He was known for being very detail-oriented and making sure that everything ran smoothly. He also invested heavily in research and development, which allowed him to stay ahead of his competitors. But Rockefeller's success also came at a cost. He was known for being ruthless in his business dealings and was often accused of using unethical methods to get ahead. For example, he would sometimes force his competitors out of business by undercutting their prices and then buying up their assets. Rockefeller also faced criticism for the way he treated his workers. He was known for paying his employees low wages and working them long hours, which led to poor working conditions and low morale. In addition, he was accused of using his wealth and influence to control the government and prevent regulation of his industry. John D. Rockefeller's success in the oil industry was not just a result of his business acumen and organization skills. He was also able to take advantage of favorable economic conditions that existed at the time. In the late 1800s, the United States was experiencing a period of rapid industrialization, which created a huge demand for energy. At the same time, new technologies were making it easier and cheaper to extract and refine oil. Rockefeller was able to capitalize on these trends by building a vertically integrated company that controlled every aspect of the oil business, from drilling to shipping to marketing. One of the most significant things Rockefeller did to grow his wealth was to create a system of horizontal integration. He bought out his competitors and consolidated the industry, allowing him to control the supply and demand of oil. This gave him a huge amount of power and influence, which he used to negotiate favorable deals with railroads and other transportation companies. He was also able to set prices and dictate terms to his customers, which helped him to maximize his profits. Rockefeller was also a pioneer in the field of philanthropy. He believed that wealthy individuals had a responsibility to give back to society, and he donated a large portion of his fortune to charity. He created the Rockefeller Foundation, which has funded countless projects in the fields of health, education, and the arts. He also helped to establish the University of Chicago and donated money to various other institutions. Despite his philanthropic efforts, however, Rockefeller's legacy is somewhat tarnished by his ruthless business practices and treatment of his workers. He was criticized by his contemporaries and later generations for the way he amassed his wealth and the impact he had on the industry and society as a whole. In conclusion, John D. Rockefeller became one of the richest men in history through his success in the oil industry. He was able to take advantage of favorable economic conditions and build a vertically integrated company that controlled every aspect of the oil business. However, his success was also marred by his ruthless business practices and treatment of his workers. Despite these criticisms, Rockefeller's legacy lives on today, both in the oil industry and in the philanthropic institutions he created. Despite these criticisms, there is no denying that Rockefeller was one of the most successful businessmen of his time. He revolutionized the oil industry and became one of the richest men in history. His legacy is still felt today, as the oil industry continues to be one of the most important sectors of the global economy.